Let's unpack this. We're diving into the source material you shared today.
Yeah, it's the first part of a horror story, kind of a podcast narrative called The Gravedirt Pact, Shortcut Through Black Hollow.
Right. And it really pulls you from, like, this carefree road trip feel.
Straight into something much, much darker. Yeah.
So our mission here really is to break down the key events from this first part.
Exactly. Look at the atmosphere they build, the turning points.
Stuff you see how the setup works, how they hook you in.
Think of it like dissecting the building blocks of the tension in this kind of story.
Okay, so let's jump in. It starts with three friends, right? Liam, Tasha, and Drew.
The source paints them as like mid-20s friends since high school. They're reunited for a weekend trip.
And the setting is specific, rural Pennsylvania, October 18th.
Yeah, and they're described as running on, adrenaline and junk food, chasing the sunset.
That whole wild freedom vibe, no real plan, no destination.
Which is crucial because that freedom is exactly what leads them, astray.
Right, because the path changes. Tasha spots this sign.
An old, rusted sign. It's a big moment.
And it reads, Black Hollow Road, no through traffic. I mean, that's pretty direct.
A literal warning. And Drew, he picks up on it immediately.
Yeah, he's skeptical. Says something like, shortcuts aren't supposed to have warnings. Makes sense.
Totally. But Tasha's curious. She's the one who suggests it.
Her logic is, let's take it. Worst case, we loop back.
Famous last words, maybe. It's that classic horror setup, ignoring the obvious warning.
And Liam, he just sort of agrees. So detour decided.
Okay, so they turn onto Black Hollow Road. What's it like, according to the source?
Oh, it gets atmospheric fast. The road itself is crumbling asphalt.
And the forest. It apparently starts closing in, pressing right up against the car.
Yeah, and the sky turns this sort of ash gray color. It notes there are no houses, no power lines, just isolation.
Isolation in these trees, the description is great, gnarled and whispering, bowing closer.
Whoa. That definitely ramps up the unease, like the place is watching them.
Exactly. It's not just scenery anymore. And the road itself, it just ends.
Ends? Like how fast?
After about half a mile, it just turns to gravel. A dead end.
And that's where they find the gates.
Iron gates. Described as twisted, ancient.
And one's partly open, with a sound.
Yeah, a screech that sounds, unnatural. It cuts through this sudden silence.
Silence, okay. And there's an archway, too.
A broken stone archway. And that's where they see the name. Black Hollow Cemetery Est, 1793.
1793, wow, that's old.
Very old. And the source makes a point of the quiet, even the forest around them held its breath, waiting.
Drew tries to joke, right? Calls it Stephen King level stuff.
Yeah, trying to lighten the mood, but Tasha's already hooked. She gets out. Liam follows, but hesitantly.
So that road trip fun is pretty much gone by now.
Oh, absolutely evaporated. Replaced by this, ominous pull.
So inside the cemetery, what's the vibe?
It's huge, apparently, and really neglected. The details are vivid. Gravestones like rotten teeth. Cracked angel statues weeping, moss-stained tears. Old iron fences around forgotten plots.
And the light is low, casting long, distorted shadows, setting the scene.
Definitely. And we learn Tasha's into abandoned places. She's taking pictures. It gives you a reason to be exploring,
Right, makes sense. And she's the one who finds it, the plaque.
Yeah, Tasha finds this stone plaque set flat in the ground.
What's striking about it? What does the source highlight?
Well, first, no name, just one word carved really deep. Bound.
Bound. Okay, that's unsafe.
And it's cold, supernaturally cold. Liam touches it and says, it's sucking the heat out of my hand.
Yikes. And Tasha thinks there's something under it.
Yeah, she feels like there's a box or a chamber beneath the stone.
This is where Drew steps in again, isn't it? With the dare.
Trying to be funny, maybe? He dares Tasha to say something spooky, like an invitation.
Oh, boy.
Tasha laughs, but the source says it sounds distant, and then she does it.
She actually says something.
Yeah, presses her hand on the plaque and whispers this phrase. We disturb what lies beneath and offer our voices to the silence below.
Oh, no. Like a ritual.
Classic horror movie moment. Liam apparently feels his heart sink, knows it's bad, asks her what she did.
But it's too late.
Too late. The consequence is immediate.
What happens?
The plaque vibrates, a deep, low thrum, like the ground itself took a breath.
Whoa.
And then, instantly, dead silence again. No birds, no wind, utter stillness.
Until
the sound. From behind the trees, this whisper, described as non-human.
Saying what?
So calls, drawn out like that, super chilling.
Okay, that's terrifying. They must have freaked out.
Totally. They spin around looking for the source of the voice, nothing there.
Look, then they realize.
The gate, the way they came in, it's gone.
Gone. Like closed.
No, the source is specific, not closed, gone, replaced by dense, thick, clawing trees.
They're trapped. Just like that.
Instantly trapped, the way in just vanished. It's a really effective, sudden shift.
Okay, so panic must be setting in now.
Oh, yeah. Tasha's trembling, saying, okay, I think we just awakened something. Realization hits.
And then Drew's flashlight dies. Of course it does.
Perfect timing, right. Plunges them more into darkness. And then they see it.
They see what?
A shape moving towards them from the far side of the cemetery.
What kind of shape?
Described as black and slithering, too long, too fluid. Definitely not natural.
Okay, time to run.
Liam's reaction exactly. Grabs them, shouts, run, don't look back.
But escaping isn't easy, is it? The cemetery itself.
It fights back. The source says the cemetery changed with every step.
How?
The paths shifted, the stones rearranged, the fog thickened. It's actively trying to confuse them, keep them there.
Like a maze that rearranges itself? That's horrifying.
And all the while, they hear the whispers behind them, calling their names.
Calling their names.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And that's basically where part one leaves us. Mid-chase, totally lost, being hunted.
Wow. Okay, so the source sets up that the next part goes deeper, tries to find out what they actually woke up. Right, and it leaves you with those big questions. Did they get out? Did they even grasp what they'd done by touching that plaque?
And that final thought. Not everything buried stays dead, and the idea of a pact comes with a price.
Sets the stage perfectly.
So boiling it down, what we've seen in this deep dive of part one is a journey from a simple, almost naive detour.
Straight into entrapment in this, living cemetery that actively works against them.
Pursued by something unknown, whispering their names. It's a tight setup.
Yeah, it uses those classic horror elements really well. You know, the ignored warning, curiosity punished, messing with something ancient.
And the consequences are immediate and terrifying.
Yeah.
It really shows how quickly things can spiral.
Totally.
Yeah.
That casual adventure flips into desperate survival just by stepping off the path, messing with the unknown.
Which, that brings us to something kind of interesting to think about.
Yeah, connecting it maybe to a bigger idea.
Exactly. It raises this question.
When you think about how easily their situation flipped, just from touching that stone and saying a few words.
Right. It makes you wonder about the invisible lines maybe we cross sometimes, the old warnings we kind of brush off in our own lives.
Yeah. What kinds of pacts maybe are we unknowingly making or breaking just by our actions or words when we step into unfamiliar territory?
And what hidden prices might be attached to those things that we don't even realize?